Hello, friends. Anna Zigeri here. I am the founder of Faith 52, an online ministry that helps leaders like you to make better presentations online and in person. So today I am going to share why is it so vital that you add a PowerPoint presentation to your presentation. Either you're doing a training, a breakout in person, on Zoom, a webinar. This is a great tool that you can use to really deliver the content of your material. So for that, I am going to share a presentation. So bear with me as I share my screen today. So we are going to start. Why is it so important that you add this tool to your presentation? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to also talk about how to build your PowerPoint presentation. And number three, what's the content? How do you build that? Why is it important to have in your PowerPoint presentation, regardless of the material? And why is this a great tool to create engagement when you're doing a presentation? And lastly, how is this a great marketing tool? And so let's go to the next slide. Okay. Here we go. So the brand, it is important that you keep consistency during your entire presentation. If you're going to pick, I would suggest that you pick three types of fonts. We are going to talk a little bit more about it in the next slide, but just keep consistency of the colors, whatever you're going to use. If you're at a church, if you are selling a book, if you are branding yourself, and you have a logo, it's a good idea to use your logo throughout the whole presentation to have the same kind of fonts, the same kind of colors. Then it's also a good tool to have because it helps you keep on track of your presentation, of your material. If you get distracted, it's very easy to look at your PowerPoint and say, oh, this is where I was, right? Because people sometimes ask questions or there's some kind of distraction in there. And it's just also the timing. You have certain time to do your presentation, and this helps you to keep track of that. The next thing that is very important for you to have a presentation is because it helps the people that are visual learners. They will be very grateful for you when you add visual presentation as well as you are talking. And I will add some photos in reading the words on the screen. And with that, please do not do not write everything that you're sharing on a PowerPoint. Just put some keywords, do use bullet points, use a quote or something like that, and that will take care of that person that has that learning style. It also provides value to your audience. When you have a PowerPoint presentation, you look more prepared, you know your material a little bit more, and it gives you a little bit more formality, if you would, when you have a PowerPoint presentation. So those are great things that need to keep in mind, and why is it so important that you use a PowerPoint presentation. The next thing is how to build your presentation. Now, there are a lot of software out there that you could be using, but these are the most popular ones. PowerPoint for PC users, and Canva can be used for from both a Mac or a PC, and Keynote is usually for the people that have Mac computers feel more familiar with this software. But basically, the three of them have the same principles. They are going to be helpful for you to use editing on the font, on the colors, the graphics, the all the movement thing that you can add. There's some that you can add videos to them, music, all kinds of things. But basically, it's the same concept for all of this kind of software. The next thing we want to pay attention to, again, let's go back to the content and the font. If you see, add a heading for your PowerPoints, your slides. It's important to keep you track of the theme that you are talking about. The size of the font that you're going to use is very, very important because you have to make sure people in the back can read it, right? So the font, the color, and the size. I want to bring to your attention this little example right here in the corner of my presentation. You see the StreamYard. Sorry about that. The StreamYard logo in there. So I try to make my slides where the logo gets mixed in because I don't like their logo. So just pay attention to those kind of things. Your graphics. If you start your PowerPoint presentation with cartoons, keep it up with cartoons. Don't mix cartoons and photos. That is a no-no. Sometimes we lose consistency of our presentation by doing that. So just make sure that whatever points you're driving people to for your information, keep it consistent. Animation. So as you can see right here, I'm using that arrow to draw your attention that this is important, right? So animations are really good things that you can use in your slides. You can also have the chance to do voice recording. This is a great, great tool. One of my favorite ones, because when I am not camera presentable, you can just use a PowerPoint and give out the information that you need to share. So I think that is one of the biggest wins as doing PowerPoint presentations. Also, another great thing is to use embedded videos, like in this case. And this brings me to my next point, the engagement. Let me come back to you right there. The engagement that you can do with a PowerPoint. In this case, I am showing you a video, and that kind of changes the mood of my presentation a little bit because you don't want to be the same all the time, right? So, as you can see, the video kind of breaks that tiredness of me focusing and watching the entire time. So that is a great way to make a break in your presentation. You can also use this PowerPoint presentations to make a point in your material. Let's say you want to share a quote and then start a topic, put a quote in the entire page, or you want to make people think about what you're talking about, so put a question in the entire screen, so that way you will bring them back to the information that you're sharing, make them think and create that engagement right there. And you can also put a powerful visual like I just did a minute ago, right? With that video, it kind of drives your attention beach and relaxing, and it gives you that break during the presentation. And the last thing that I want to share is your brand. Okay, we talk a little bit about it at the beginning, but it is a great way to be consistent and to show who you are and what you do. So if you keep that brand consistent throughout your whole presentation, your logo, your colors, your fonts, people are going to get familiar with your product. And I know we don't like to use those terms when we're talking about church, but let's say that you're doing a presentation for your volunteers because you're doing a training. Use the theme of that training that you're using. Let's say we're going to have an event called Fiesta, for Cinco de Mayo, and you just try to use graphics or colors that will drive the attention or make it part of your presentation. If you are selling a book, if you are just doing something for your church, use the brand of the church. In that you're doing a Sunday presentation. I have a couple of friends that have done their get to preach on Sundays. They use power presentations, so I've used them a lot also in teaching children's. I tell stories, and sometimes when things have happened to me, I bring pictures. Like we went on a vacation and there was a big bear where we saw it, and I grab a picture of that bear and I show them the bear. So that gives a connection right there to my story. So usually I get a great feedback when I use PowerPoint presentations to bring my information in. You can also make sure that you, at the end of your presentation, you use your last slide to put things where people can connect with you. You want to put giveaways also. If you're giving something away, tell people how can they actually access your giveaway. And resources, if you're having resources for your audience, make sure that you list them in there. If you leave that last slideshow with your information there and people cannot approach you, they can take a picture and then contact you later. So don't dismiss the advantage and the power of a PowerPoint presentation. Friends, I hope that these tips help you. And if you want to learn more and actually how to use PowerPoint, and I can help you and learn how to use the recording modes, how to create the graphics. And PowerPoint actually has this really cool feature that it's practice feature. So you can do your practice your entire presentation to see how long are you taking. It even records there all the mispronounced words that you have. I should have used it today. And also the it tells you how many times you did that. So again, don't dismiss the power of a PowerPoint presentation. I hope this has helpful to you, and I will love to connect with you and help you out. So just check out fate52.com, and I hope to engage with you or see you again. Thank you.